Angels versus demons. A battle raging right now, an unseen battle that shapes your life more than politics, more than money, more than anything you can see with your eyes. Spiritual warfare is not a myth. It is the greatest hidden war of our generation. The Bible declares in Ephesians 6:12 that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers of darkness, and that truth still strikes like lightning today. Have you ever wondered why depression spreads like wildfire, why families collapse, why society feels torn apart? Could it be that demonic influence is silently weaving despair into our culture while angels fight to guard us, unseen yet real? This is the central secret few dare to speak. The invisible clash of light and darkness is the root behind so much of what you face. In this video, you will uncover signs of spiritual warfare in daily life, learn how angels intervene to protect, and see how demons deceive with subtle lies. You will discover what the Bible says about recognizing the battle and how prayer becomes a weapon more powerful than any sword. Most of all, you will find hope, because light has already claimed the final victory. So I ask you, do you believe these forces are at work around you? Or do you think it is just coincidence? Share your thoughts below, because your voice matters in this conversation. And if this message touches your soul, let your like, your comment, your subscribe be a way of standing with the light. This is not just another video. This is a call to awaken, a reminder that you are part of a story greater than yourself, and that even in the darkest night, the angels of heaven still fight for you. The nature of the battle, light versus darkness. There is a battlefield that no satellite can map, no general can command, and no weapon of man can conquer. It is the realm where angels and demons collide, where unseen forces shape the destiny of nations and the struggles of your heart. The Bible speaks clearly. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, against principalities, against the rulers of darkness of this world. These words are not poetry. They are revelation, a window into the invisible war that touches every life. Light is not just an idea. It is the presence of God Himself, breaking chains and setting captives free. Darkness is not just the absence of hope. It is the active deception of Satan, twisting truth into lies and luring souls into despair. Look at the world around us. Families fractured, addictions destroying lives, culture glorifying shadows instead of the light. These are not random trends, they are battle scars. The opioid epidemic in America is not just a health crisis, it is evidence of spiritual warfare, a storm where human weakness collides with demonic strategy. Yet even in this darkness, rays of light shine. Every act of forgiveness, every moment of courage, every step of faith is proof that the power of angels is not silent. The lesson is clear. What we see in society is only the surface. Beneath it lies the conflict of eternity. And knowing this truth awakens us to live with eyes wide open, not as victims, but as warriors standing under the banner of Christ. This understanding leads us deeper into the very signs that angels are still moving in our lives today. Signs of angelic intervention. Today, how many stories have we heard of people surviving accidents that should have ended their lives? A car crushed beyond recognition, yet the driver walks away unharmed. A soldier in battle feels a mysterious pull to move just seconds before a bullet shatters the ground where he stood. Doctors shake their heads, calling it luck or coincidence, but faith calls it what it is: angelic intervention, the unseen hands of protection. The Bible gives countless examples: an angel shutting the mouths of lions to save Daniel, an angel freeing Peter from prison. These are not ancient myths, they are blueprints of how God still works today. Even now, people experience moments of unexplainable peace in the middle of chaos, whispers of strength that come just when their hearts are breaking. That peace is not human, it is the touch of heaven. But here is where many stumble. They dismiss these miracles as chance. They expect angels to appear with blazing wings, when most of the time they move silently, guiding, protecting, strengthening. I remember hearing a mother tell how her child nearly drowned, only to be pulled to safety by a stranger who vanished before she could say thank you. Who was he? Maybe just a man, or maybe an angel on assignment. The lesson is profound. Angels are real, present, and active, even if the world refuses to see. Their presence is a reminder that heaven has not abandoned us. And if we open our hearts to this reality, we will begin to recognize their fingerprints all around us. But as angels fight for us, demons plot against us, and their strategies are just as real. This takes us to the other side of the battle. The strategies of demonic influence. If angels protect, demons deceive. Their weapons are not swords, but lies. Lies that whisper, "You are not enough." Lies that chain men to addictions, lies that convince women they are unloved, lies that make children believe their life has no worth. Look at the culture today. Pornography normalized, greed celebrated, violence glorified. These are not harmless entertainments. They are the fingerprints of demonic influence, weaving despair into the soul of society. Think about the silent epidemic of depression and suicide, especially among the young in America. Science calls it mental illness, and indeed it is real. But beneath the statistics lies a deeper truth, a war against hope itself. Demons thrive where faith is absent, where prayer is silenced, where truth is mocked. And the greatest trick of Satan is to convince you he doesn't exist, that all of this is just psychology or bad luck. But the Bible unmasks his schemes, warning that Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. That is why darkness often feels so attractive. It wears the mask of freedom, yet delivers chains. A young man might believe drugs will numb his pain, only to find himself enslaved. A marriage crumbles because anger is fed, while forgiveness starves. Every small compromise is a victory for the enemy. Yet the lesson here is not despair, it is awareness. For once you recognize the strategies, you break their power. Light always exposes darkness, and when exposed, demons lose their grip. This is why awareness of spiritual warfare is so urgent today. To ignore it is to fight blindfolded, but to face it is to step into the authority Christ has already given. And as we move forward, we see clearly that recognizing both angelic and demonic forces is not superstition, it is survival in the unseen battle. Why we often fail to see this battle. The most dangerous war is not the one you can see with bombs and blood, but the one you ignore because it hides in plain sight. Spiritual warfare is dismissed by many as superstition, yet the Bible warns that Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. That means deception is his deadliest weapon. He does not always come dressed in darkness. Sometimes he comes wrapped in beauty, in success, in the illusion of freedom. This is why so many people in modern culture explain away the invisible realm. They say depression is only chemistry, greed is just ambition, lust is just human nature. But when you peel back the layers, you realize there is a darker architect at work. In America, millions chase wealth thinking it will heal their emptiness, only to end up in anxiety and broken families. That is not coincidence. That is a battlefield. The failure to see the unseen battle makes you vulnerable, like walking through a minefield blindfolded. And here lies the lesson. What you deny will still destroy you. But when you acknowledge the truth of angels and demons, you reclaim the ability to fight with open eyes. This awareness is healing because it explains why your struggle feels heavier than flesh and blood. It is bigger than you, but not bigger than God. And once you know this, you are ready to understand the weapons heaven gives to overcome. The weapons of heaven, how angels fight. Imagine standing in the middle of chaos, yet feeling a peace that does not make sense. That peace is not weakness, it is a weapon. Angels do not wield machine guns or missiles. They fight with the authority of God, with the word spoken, with the power of prayer. The Bible tells of Daniel thrown into the lion's den, yet an angel shut the mouths of those beasts. It tells of Peter chained in prison, yet an angel led him out, the gates opening by themselves. These are not fairy tales, they are strategies of heaven still active today. When you pray, you activate angelic armies. When you declare truth, you silence demonic lies. The problem is, many treat prayer as a ritual, not a weapon. They whisper weak words instead of roaring faith. But heaven is moved not by empty repetition, but by hearts burning with belief. I think of a young woman who prayed for her addicted brother. Years later, after countless relapses, he finally broke free and told her, "Every time you prayed, I felt something pulling me back." That was not psychology, it was warfare, angels fighting for his soul. The lesson is simple. Never underestimate prayer. It may feel invisible, but in the unseen realm it is the earthquake that shatters chains. And as angels fight, we are not spectators. We are soldiers called to join this battle. Our role as soldiers in the battle. Too many Christians live as if faith is a comfort blanket, not a call to arms. But the Bible commands, "Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand in the evil day." This means every believer is drafted into the unseen war. Your choices are not neutral. They are arrows in the hands of angels or fuel for demons. When you choose forgiveness over revenge, you swing a sword of light. When you resist temptation, you raise a shield that blocks the fiery darts of the enemy. Even the smallest act of love, helping a neighbor, speaking truth, encouraging a friend, becomes a battlefield victory. Yet the danger is in thinking this responsibility belongs only to pastors or holy men. That lie disarms ordinary people, making them easy prey. The truth is, every mother praying for her children, every teenager refusing to bow to peer pressure, every worker choosing honesty over corruption, they are warriors clothed in divine armor. Think of the civil rights leaders in America who marched peacefully, choosing faith over fear. Their struggle was not just political, it was spiritual, a fight against powers of hatred and division, and their victories became proof that light still conquers darkness. The lesson is urgent. You are not called to watch the war, you are called to fight in it. The unseen battle is not fought by angels alone, it is fought through you with your voice, your faith, your love. And when you step into this calling, you will see the invisible war with new eyes, aware, empowered, and unafraid. Real-life manifestations of this war. Look around and you will see the fingerprints of the unseen battle etched into the headlines, whispered in broken homes, shouted in streets filled with unrest. The wars between nations are terrifying, but the wars within hearts are even more destructive. Families collapse under the weight of betrayal, children grow up fatherless, and whole generations are raised in a culture where darkness is celebrated as entertainment. This is not coincidence. It is the echo of demonic influence clashing with the purpose of God. School shootings that shatter communities, addictions that grip millions, and the rising tide of anxiety among the youth of America are not just social trends. They are the scars of spiritual warfare bleeding into our daily lives. Yet even amid such chaos, there are sparks of heaven. A man battling addiction for decades suddenly finds freedom after prayer. A family on the brink of divorce chooses forgiveness instead of hatred. These moments are not small victories. They are proof that angels still move, that light still pierces even the deepest night. The lesson here is raw and real. When society drifts from truth, the battlefield intensifies. But when one person stands firm in faith, heaven advances. The contrast between collapse and redemption reminds us that every choice is part of this unseen struggle. Will you recognize that what feels like random tragedy is actually part of a larger war for souls? Comment your thoughts, because acknowledging this war is the first step to winning it. And when we admit the reality of the unseen, we are ready to embrace the hope the Bible promises. the hope of a final victory that cannot be undone. Hope and final victory promised in Scripture. The battle may feel endless, but the Bible declares a destiny that no demon can overturn, the ultimate triumph of God over Satan, the eternal victory of light over darkness. Revelation 20:10 paints the final scene where the deceiver is cast into the lake of fire, never again to torment or accuse. This is not fantasy, it is the promise of a judge who writes history with his own hand. Think of it like D-Day in World War II. Once the invasion succeeded, the outcome of the war was already sealed, even though battles still raged until the final surrender. In the same way, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ marked the turning point, guaranteeing the enemy's defeat. What remains is the final cleanup, the skirmishes before the end of time. That means your struggle today is not in vain. It is part of a war already won. Every prayer you whisper, every temptation you resist, every act of kindness you choose adds to the echo of that coming victory. And here is where healing enters. You are not powerless, you are not forgotten, you are part of the winning side if you cling to the cross. The lesson is both humbling and electrifying. Darkness may roar, but it cannot win. Light is not losing ground, it is breaking chains, one life at a time. This is why you must never give up hope, even when the night feels endless. The dawn has already been promised, and it will come. The question is, when that day arrives, will you be standing with the angels of light or swept away with the shadows? Share your answer, because your voice may awaken someone else to choose the side of victory. And as we step toward the conclusion, remember that this war is not a story of despair. It is a call to rise, to live as warriors of light until the final trumpet sounds. The unseen battle between angels and demons is not a tale from ancient scrolls. It is the pulse of the world we live in right now. Every headline filled with chaos, every silent tear behind closed doors, every inner voice whispering, "Give up" or "Hold on," is evidence of a war that rages beyond the veil of sight. The Bible tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against rulers of darkness, against unseen powers that crave the soul of humanity. Yet in this tension there is beauty. For every shadow there is a light, shining brighter. For every deceptive whisper there is the voice of heaven reminding us of hope. And for every wound that feels unhealed, there is a promise that nothing in this world can separate us from the love of God. Think of the moments in your life when disaster should have crushed you, but somehow you stood up again. That is not just resilience. That is a hand unseen, an angel guarding your steps. Think of the times when temptation felt too strong, but suddenly you found the strength to walk away. That is not coincidence. It is the spiritual warfare within you where heaven itself intervened. But also think of the times you stumbled, when despair whispered louder than truth, when addiction, anger, or bitterness seemed to win. Those scars remind us that demonic influence is relentless, a liar who hides behind masks of pleasure, success, or power. The great danger is to ignore this battle, to explain away what is truly spiritual as mere psychology or random fate. Yet the evidence is everywhere. The opioid crisis ravaging America, broken families, rising violence, children growing up without hope. These are not isolated problems. They are manifestations of a deeper conflict. And here lies the most important truth. You are not powerless in this story. You are not just a spectator watching angels and demons collide. You are a soldier clothed in the armor of God, chosen to stand when others fall. Every prayer you pray shakes the unseen. Every choice of love over hate, forgiveness over revenge, truth over lies, is a blow against darkness itself. You may feel small, but in the hands of heaven, you are mighty. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the grave is alive in you, equipping you to fight, to endure, to overcome. The end of the story is already written. The Bible assures us that light wins, that the deceiver will be cast down forever, that every tear will be wiped away. Yet until that final trumpet sounds, the battle rages in our schools, in our homes, in our hearts. This is why awareness matters. This is why faith is not optional, but essential. Because when you wake up each day, you are stepping onto a battlefield, whether you realize it or not. The only question is whose side you stand on. So I challenge you to look at your life through new eyes. Where are the signs of angelic intervention protecting you, guiding you, whispering peace into your storms? Where are the fingerprints of demonic influence tempting you, distracting you, deceiving you into compromise? And most importantly, what choice will you make when the next battle rises inside your heart? Will you rise with the warriors of light, or surrender to the shadows that promise pleasure but deliver chains? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your story, your perspective, your questions, because your words might awaken someone else trapped in the same struggle. If this message resonates with you, if you feel even a spark of light in the middle of your darkness, let this be the moment you stand firm. Let your like and your subscribe be more than clicks. Let them be a declaration that you choose light, that you stand with heaven. And if this video has brought healing to your soul, or helped you see with new eyes, I invite you to support this journey, not with obligation, not with pressure, but with love. Every small act of encouragement, every gesture of support, fuels the creation of more content that spreads hope, that speaks truth, that reminds the world that the battle is real, but so is the victory. If you have ever felt touched, inspired, or strengthened here, your energy, even the smallest, is priceless to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Remember this: the darkness may roar, but it cannot win. The light has already claimed the final victory. You are not abandoned, you are not weak, you are chosen, you are called. Stand tall, fight bravely. Live as though angels walk beside you, because they do. And when you feel surrounded, remember that the Lord of hosts fights for you. The unseen battle is real, but so is the unseen victory. Stay strong, stay awake, and never forget, you are on the winning side.